Well, hello and welcome everybody. Autism show on the EiE Network. I'm Dick Dawson along with my co-host Aimee Hogan and Booleanenator. And Aimee, what have we got in store today for everybody?
We have the second half of the benefits of speech therapy in autism today. So we have a really good show planned, and this should be the conclusion of it as well. We've got the whole thing listed right in here.
All right, we did it in 2, not 3. What do you think, Bull? We're getting there now.
Yeah, we're getting on top of it. I mean, each of these topics, we could literally go on for months about some of them. So we're trying to cover the basics, right, folks? So
Yeah. And I mean, some things have to be covered a little bit more deeper than others, but, 2 will do this one. We got a few more foundationals, and then, we're hoping to start opening up the channel for guests and people to join us and stuff. So, let's all take this ride and grow together, right?
That's right.
So why don't we head right over to the classroom and Aimee can lead us on.
Sure.
Welcome to Autism, the show that always unique, totally interesting, and sometimes mysterious.
That's right. And tonight we are talking about the benefits of speech therapy in autism. And the question that they ask first is, what are the benefits of speech therapy in autism? Okay. So speech therapy can improve overall communication. This makes it possible for people with autism to improve their ability to form relationships and function in day-to-day life.
Which obviously is one of the main goals of everything we're talking about.
Absolutely. It's life skills. It's just something that's definitely needed in day-to-day life, isn't it? Yep,
and thanks for a great send-off there, Matt. That was really good.
yes, thank you, Matt.
Thanks.
Love that kid. Love that kid.
Thank you. Me too.
He's definitely getting the hang of this. I just like it.
Me too.
So, let's see here. So, overall communication, I mean, you can communicate, point and shoot sort of in a few different ways, but the ultimate goal is to be able to not integrate, but, be a part of society as much as you can. And, as anybody that's deaf will tell you, speech would make it a lot easier.
Oh, definitely. You get your wants and your needs met when you have speech. You can tell people how you feel. I mean, there are so many things that you can use your speech for, and it also helps lower frustration when you can talk too, and get your thoughts and feelings out, huh?
Absolutely. I'm going to use an extreme example. Helen Keller was deaf, blind, and essentially they called it dumb back in the day, but it's actually she was unable to speak because she'd never heard human speech before, but she actually hadn't always been that way, so she had started to learn to speak. And there was a movie out about how it was the water, the feel of water, and what water was that actually allowed her to break through that speech barrier. And once she started communicating, she contributed a lot and had a much higher quality of life than somebody who was basically shut into their own head.
Yeah, very much. Very much. I remember doing some studying on her in school, actually.
Yes, she was amazing.
Very much, very much. I have a feeling the next slide is going to give us a little bit more into what we're really getting to, shall we?
Yes, please.
So specific goals of speech therapy include helping the individual with autism, A, articulate words well, B, communicate both verbally and non-verbally. I bet there's more, right?
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Yeah. C, comprehend verbal and non-verbal communication, understanding others' intentions in a range of settings. And you got D, initiate communication without prompting from others. And without could have been underlined in my world.
Yes. Yes, same here. Definitely, because we still, you can still hear it every once in a while. I'll be prompting in the background while he's, huh.
Well,
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I have to be prompted a lot myself. So, like, I just, like, I don't call my parents. I don't call my sister. They call me typically. I'm trying to do better at that. I'm trying to reach out to them on a more regular basis, but I don't have it, like, I alternate between feeling like I'm intruding on them, or it's been too long. It's a weird feeling to me. It's like I haven't called in so long. They're going to be annoyed that I didn't call in so long, and they're going to give me crap about it, or I've called at a bad time, and they're just not going to appreciate the call this second.
Yeah, I go through that as well. You mumble your head out of it, and you end up with that cycle of if you want to put it off, and then you think you've put it off too long, and it feels like there's something inside just pulling you away from ever doing it ever.
Yep.
Yes. I get that too. I'm the same way.
And Bull, if we could go back one slide quick. There was the articulation. That really helped my son, because as he learned to articulate the words better, he was more likely to use them.
Yes.
Yeah, if you have an expanded vocabulary, you can pick and choose your words a lot better.
Yeah. And then also in this communicate verbally and non-verbally, it also can be somewhat of an issue or a longer term process than you would think to make sure that they're both working in tandem together, because sometimes humans don't say things that are just common knowledge because we're aware. Well, they're not always. So pulling those together to make it one isn't always the easiest. It's worth the effort, because it's so good for them once they get it.
Yes. Oh, it's amazing. It's once they understand what's going on and around them, and can get what people, want and need, hearing both the verbal and then understanding what they're seeing is huge. And it's such a big help to them, and also helps lower that frustration level.
And there's nothing wrong with anything that lowers frustration. Oh, yes. Grab them and hold on tight, right? Exactly. Should we skip, because I put us back one, right? So now we're out of order, and I do believe it would be Bull's turn.
I mean, it's my reading now.
Okay, so continued, but wait, there's more.
Know the appropriate time and place to communicate something. For example, when to say good morning, develop conversational skills, exchange ideas.
That's right.
Awesome. But wait, there's more. And I'll read this one. Communicate in ways to develop relationships. Enjoy communicating, playing, and interacting with peers, and learn self-regulation.
And relationships, just think of the word. Without good skills at communicating, as some of us here know, because I know some of the people that are in the chat as I look at the names, wow, it can be seriously hard. Just imagine how much harder it is on the young one that's quite lost in it versus us who have struggled along as adults. So it's really focusing on the small goals that get you some strides, so the child feels some pride in the and right on and stuff. As long as it's scripted into a long-term plan, those little ones, make sure you really cheer them up and stuff, and get that feeling of pride in there. It really helps solidify it.
Absolutely. Oh, it does. That's one of the things that they say the most too, is really play up how proud of them you are for doing such a look at you go, woohoo.
Exactly.
Someone does that, huh?
Yep.
Because it works. Right? Yep.
That's nice.
Thank
All right.
you. Yeah, plus playing with their, their peers and stuff like that, that keeps them less isolated. Because autism, that's one thing that we haven't really gone over too much, is the
Mhm.
fact that autism can be isolating.
Yes.
When we used to live in our hometown, we used to try to go play in the playground, and although he wouldn't notice, I would notice how people would look at us and they'd kind of like shy away and then, not try to understand what's going on. But
Mhm.
when he was able to talk and communicate and they can hear and everything and learn, and he's able to tell people more, it's opened up a lot for him. It really has.
It really does, and even just simple little things, like my son, a few of his friends in our little neighborhood here. There's some kids that really make the effort and include him and stuff, but at the same time, he needs the tools to make use of it, right? And if he
Yes.
doesn't have them, we're not really helping, right?
Right, exactly.
So yes, definitely important stuff. I just want to get Metal Vet had a question. So, how do you convince a family member to get their kid tested? I think we could address this one with a little pause here in the presentation for a second, because that's a really good one. I know somebody else who's going through this right now and I know somebody in my neighborhood who I'm convinced their child should be tested, but is not taking the steps to do so. And you're dealing with somebody who seems to think that the autism label or the autism spectrum disorder label, makes their child less in some way. It doesn't, but they seem to think that way. So even approaching it seems to be this really touchy subject. The way I did it with one person, the way it worked was I said, it might be worth having the child tested. I mean, odds are the child's not on the spectrum, but if the doctor could be convinced the child is, you get this extra funding for each year that helps with some tutoring and some other things in life. And if that doesn't give your child a leg up on everybody in society, what does? I mean, I'd do it anyway. And that was the angle I took to try to make it not antagonistic, but look at the positives, right?
Right, exactly. And even kids who aren't on the spectrum sometimes can benefit from little things, because not everything develops at the exact same speed. It's some kids can talk right from the get-go, others they have a harder time with it. It's or it could even be an injury. I mean, I know kids who've had nerve damage from birth and stuff like that, and they benefited from therapies and stuff like that, like speech therapy and learning how to use those muscles.
A lot of these therapies we're talking about are not specific, or only specific, rather. That's a better way to put it. They're only specific to autism spectrum disorder.
That's right.
They are
Right.
They try to make them as generic as they can to make them as useful as they can, right? Because if there was something that only worked on autism spectrum disorder, it probably wouldn't work for more than a small percentage of the people with autism spectrum disorder, because like Aimee says every episode, you meet somebody with autism, you've met one person with autism. And it's got to be a whole life approach kind of thing.
Absolutely. But yeah, I just wanted to address that one because I thought it was really good. And I guess it would be Aimee, I think, takes it now.
Yes.
Even super chat Matt to you. Growth of speech therapy continued. Learn how to recognize their name. Learn how to pay focused attention. Perspective talking, for example. Learning how to put themselves in others' shoes. Open-minded communication.
That's right. That's a good one. That's a very good one, because sometimes some his classmates, I've noticed this too. They you'll turn to them and say, hey, so and so, and they don't hear it. They don't know that you're addressing them. It's
Yes.
something that that's different that I've noticed before. He's pretty good about it. Sometimes he ignores me on purpose because he's a teenager, but
Yeah.
name recognition is something that is another thing that sometimes has to be learned as
Yep.
well.
Felix is 13 and it still happens. I'll be outside. He'll be playing with a couple of the kids and a few of them will go, hey, Felix, hey, Felix. And he's just, doing his thing. And I go, hey, buddy, they're talking to you. And he just looks up and looks right over and boom, he's in the game again. And he just, it's my voice. So, of course, it works, right? But to others, I don't even hear you said my name.
Well,
Exactly. But sometimes that does happen, huh?
it's like a trade-off. Like, you have to learn to pay focused attention, but if you focus too hard, you start tuning too much out, right? So you don't hear other people calling your own name. Like, hey, it's happened to me too, lots. Like, hey, you zoned out there. No,
Yeah.
I was busy in my own head. Thanks.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, more so when I was younger too, I'd be reading a book and be really into reading my book and not the outside world has.
Reading a book saying, once upon a time,
That's
there
right.
was, insert title here.
Yeah. And sometimes you just are in your own world and you don't hear anything.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
It is.
And the other person's shoes, that's not easy. So, when you get to something like, literally you're on the doorstep of empathy at the moment. And that is a bit of a disconnect sometimes, other times not. I've seen it go both ways with some of the kids I've met so far. And, my instincts with my experiences would tell me that if there's a disconnection there, that could take a bit. So, that's a patience moment for sure, I think.
Definitely. And that's something that can use more work and have more work focused on that as well. Because like you said, if that disconnect is there, it's something that they have to work through and learn, and it's going to take a while.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Just like Supermom said there. And people look and think, well, you got her diagnosed, so she'll be getting better. Like, no, that's not how this works.
Not even at all. Not even close. Your work is just beginning. Right?
Exactly. You want to read the next one for us, Matt?
Want this one?
Super Chat Matt. Parental support. It is very important for the parents and other adults in the person's life to help them implement the new things they learned.
Mm-hmm.
Well done, buddy.
Good job.
Well done.
That
And
is very true.
yeah, and what we do is, my son's grandma is very active in his world, and she pays the utmost attention and keeps up with the different aspects of the programs and stuff. Boom, done. And if we have somebody over, I'll make sure, Felix needs that little strip there because he'll just get up out of the blue and march off, and he'll just trip right over. Just it's nothing to ask, right? It's no big deal.
Right, exactly. One of the things too about this parental support, which is really good, is consistency. Coordinate with your therapist, your outside therapist, the ones at the school. That's what we do, and as a matter of fact, that's what I've been doing in a flurry this week, is emailing his new teachers so we can all get together and make sure that we're all on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, whatever he's doing at school is the same at home and vice versa. That's something that you really have to work hard on too. And that's a big key part of parental support and caregiver support as well.
Yeah, I just got thrown a tad of a monkey wrench that way because the guy coordinating most of the stuff that's going on with background support for my son has figured that we should do some more token work, and I had phased that out around here. So bringing it back in, there's going to be a bit of a resistance, but it's needed more when mom's around and stuff. So that's what we're doing.
Exactly.
So, what are you going to do, right?
Right.
Yeah, sorry, Bull, yeah.
I was going to say that kind of leads us to the next slide.
Oh, perfect.
It does. It leads very well into it. So I think I'll go ahead and read that. And that's when speech therapist is able to train the adults who care for the person, they will make quicker progress. This is because they are getting individualized support and practice from multiple sources. So you working with Felix's mother on this is very important.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I have found since all this nastiness going on in the world with staying home and staying safe, that the video meetings instead of the in-person meetings mean that no matter who's where, everybody can be there and it's easier to stay up, and I like them.
I do too, and that's how we've been doing the meetings too. We don't have to go anywhere. We can just sit right there, and we can all be there and coordinate easier, huh? Yep. So it works out good, doesn't it? Yep.
I like it. Yeah, so you could sum that up with synchronicity.
Yep. It's important.
We'd play the song for you, but we'd get a strike, so we can't do that.
That's right. Yep. That would be a problem, wouldn't it?
Yes.
No copyright strikes.
No copyright strikes. Did we get a copyright strike before?
No.
Oh, we've had a couple.
Yeah, we have.
We dealt with them.
What do you do?
Yeah.
It's always the flurf. So wait a minute, wrong show for that. Okay. What's the next one?
Sure, it's parental support continued.
Parental support continued. This will also allow the person to practice their new skills in a more natural environment for them, like their home. The setting of a therapy room or a classroom can sometimes feel a little formal, causing anxiety.
That's right. Can make you nervous, can it?
Yes.
Yeah, so sometimes it's easier to do it at home, huh?
Yep.
Yes. You're right. So that's good.
No arguing that, is there?
No, not at all. That was pretty much straightforward.
Yeah.
But it's so much.
This goes right to what we were saying with the virtual meets and stuff and whatnot that we've been doing. It has really been good.
It really has, because there are many advantages to it too, because one, they're more relaxed when they're at home with me, when he's at home with me. And then they can also see how he acts differently with me as compared to when he's at school. So it's also a good thing to see that as well, to see how to help in that situation. So I just think the Zoom meetings are great.
I agree.
Aren't they?
Yep.
Well, yourself, Boole, do you have that thing where when you're in a more formal environment, it instantly becomes like just not comfortable?
Yeah. that's like a big yes.
Yeah.
Even like, for instance, when I'm doing this, when I'm producing shows, which I'm trying to make it my full-time job, basically. It's the anxiety and the performance anxiety, I guess, is the best way to put it. You get this need to do it correctly, and it's so overwhelming sometimes. It makes you anxious. So
I know that feeling as well, all too well. Yeah.
Me too.
Kind of. It's that one friend you don't really need, but just won't go away.
Yeah. Yep.
The not wanted one.
Exactly.
That anxiety can just go away.
Ah, too good. Too good. Where are we here? I think we have a not continued slide next.
Right.
So
Who wants it?
I think it's your turn, Dick.
Me.
Okay.
Okay. When is the best
Yeah.
time to start speech therapy for autism? Well, the earlier the better. Autism spectrum disorder is usually evident before age 3, and language delays can be recognized as early as 18 months of age. And this is where what we up here where I live, we have like strong start programs, like preschool. And if you get the right one with somebody that actually knows what's going on, things can get recognized. My son got recognized just turning 2.
Wow.
So yeah, very, very helpful.
Oh, that's amazing too, having that program in place.
Mhm.
It was evident pretty much, yeah, right from early age that Matt was too. It took us a while to get our testing done, but
Yep.
we finally did it, didn't we?
Yep.
The sooner you start, the better, but any age,
Yeah.
well, if you have to start at a later age, that's okay too, because at least they can still learn the skills.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I had the girl at the school mention it to me, and I didn't pay too much attention. And then a couple of months later, I met a parent who had an autistic child and mentioned it. And I thought, well, that's 2 now. So, I'd be a little bit, remiss if I don't actually, have somebody look into things, right?
Right, exactly. And we did too. We saw that, things aren't quite what they should be for a normal kiddo at this age. Well, I shouldn't say normal because nobody's normal, right?
Yep.
But things are not quite going as they normally would. So we started that whole process, but here things are slow, so it took
Mhm.
a lot of waiting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But
Some
once it got
areas,
going-
right?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Had to get the insurance in place, then had to get everything coordinated to get, then we had to hurry up and get on a wait list to get checked, right?
Yep,
All
that's
kinds of wait lists.
that statement right there exemplifies the U.S. healthcare system. Hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's what we did. Was hurried up and waited, huh?
It's like I watched Toy Story. Yes.
That's right.
When is the best time to start speech therapy for autism? Continued. In some cases, autism can be identified as early as 10 to 12 months of age. It is very important to start speech therapy as early as possible when it can have the greatest impact.
That's right. So start as soon as possible, right?
Right.
Yeah, and I guess that goes along with I've heard it said a few times in life. Not actually sure if it's true, but it's easier to learn new languages the younger you are.
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe that's also in line of you can't teach an old dog new tricks, so to speak. Except for our little dog, he's cool. But it just seems to be easier to get it done in an early age. So getting it done when there's hard work to be done, you can't be overstated how important it is to get in there and start when you see anything that looks like there's issues.
Absolutely. It's
Right.
as soon as possible and do as much as you can.
Right, because tricks are for kids. Tricks are for kids.
Tricks are for kids.
That's funny.
Thank you. My little comedian over here.
Now I just got a visual of that goofy rabbit from the cereal box. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good.
So I'll go ahead and take this one.
Sure.
I think this is the last continuation of this slide too. Intensive individualized treatment can help lessen the disabling isolation that may result from this social communication disability. And that's why you need to start it as soon as possible, because like I said, you get trapped in your own head
Yes.
and you're gonna get angry. You're gonna get resentful from everything around you because you can't communicate, and you're either gonna shut down and not talk at all and just be, for all intents and purposes, catatonic, or you're going to go the other direction and hyperactive. So
Yeah.
Yep. And lash out. And it's a lot. Most of it is born of that frustration, and it's so frustrating not being able to communicate, not
Yeah.
being able to say, "Well, I need this." You know, it's a huge impact on them. And
The like when you hear stories about the kids that act up and get a little bit more physical, more often than not, they are less and less verbal,
yes,
right? You know,
absolutely.
it's that frustration of I can't get what's in my head out to you.
Absolutely. And I've noticed that too, how much he's calmed down since he's been able to talk much more clearly and able to articulate what he needs.
Yeah.
Because there were some times, you got mama pretty good, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he says. Yep.
Yeah, Matt's
Right?
Yes.
And he does really well now. He loves going to school. He loves doing things because we can talk.
Because
about
I'm
it.
in 9th grade in the high school now.
oh, growing up.
Old man. He is.
Yes,
that's
I am.
that's a big step, and it's a different step too, because you're not going to school as much. You're doing a lot more from home than we used to.
Yeah, it's a lot different, huh?
Yes, it is.
But he's doing really well with it, which is
The
good.
math.
That's good.
That's right.
Well, how about we get Matt to read us the next slide here?
Sure.
What? I already read this?
No.
Oh, wait, I joked. Excuse me.
Certainly. Go ahead in there, honey.
Oh, yeah. When it is the best time to start speech therapy for autism? Continued. With early identification and intervention, 2 out of 3 preschoolers with autism improve communication skills and their grasp of spoken language.
And that's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
I'm
a huge help.
yeah, imagine if your odds of winning the lottery are that good. Everybody would line up, right?
Exactly. Yep, exactly. And it's just amazing how that can help them
I just saw it.
later on as they start their school career and everything. It's going to make a huge impact on how they learn and everything. So that's amazing. That's a great statistic. That's why I had to include that in there.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I like it. I like it. And you know, we're talking about preschoolers here, so you know it's going to be said so many times on this series, but any small indication, you know, set up with a pediatrician and just go and have a checkup. What does it take? Why not?
Exactly. It doesn't hurt to ask, look, this is what I think is going on. What do you think? Even just say help, because they'll know what to do. They'll know what direction to take and everything. And we're glad we did, right?
Yep.
Well, next one.
Sure.
When is the best time to start speech therapy for autism? Continued. Research shows those who improve the most are often those who receive the most speech therapy.
That's right. evidence-based, so it works.
Yep.
Hmm. You'll hear that a lot too when we're going through all of these evidence-based. It is. It's it's true. It's pretty much
Yes.
self-explanatory. And when they say this works because it is evidence-based, then you know, okay, yep, let's start right away. Let's start working on this because it works.
Yes. Yes. And, if
Yeah.
there's a lull where it doesn't seem to be, getting the results you think you should be getting, don't just transfer all your funding into behavioral therapies and whatnot. Keep things balanced and keep on the speech therapy, because when it hits that moment, you're going to go, oh, yes, there we go.
Absolutely. It's like with anything anybody learns. You're going to hit plateaus. You're going to sometimes even regress a little bit. Don't get discouraged. Just keep plowing through. It will work, and it will work eventually, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Right.
Yeah. Doesn't say a lot, but he means what he says.
Exactly. A man of few words.
I
on this show,
I thought she was talking about Matt saying "yep" is something we're going to hear a lot, but okay.
What do you mean?
You say "yep." You say "yep" a lot this episode.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
we can get him another avatar. He could be Captain Acquiesce.
Yep.
I rate his eye, Captain Acquiesce.
Oh, that's funny.
You're funny, man.
All right, let's
That's
switch
great.
up to the next one here.
Sure.
To find a speech language pathologist, check in with the person's physician or with their care team, as they could have some resources for you. The local Autism Society would be a great resource as well. And any pediatrician who's involved with children on the spectrum is going to have a load of local resources.
Absolutely. And if they don't, they know where to direct you to find those resources and to get you the help you need. Like with us, we have a case manager, and that's her basic job, is to help us find the services that we need, any information that we might need to go on to the next step to get those services. She's wonderful with that. She can also direct you to different resources. She, or he, I should say, I'm sorry. But yeah, there's always a place you can go to get even more resources. So always check with the doctor. I always say check with the doctor first. Then if you want or need, get a case manager, and that's what we do, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And if you have any stumbling blocks, regroup, reshuffle, have a cup of tea, get back up and make some more calls or inquiries, because it is there. You will find it.
Exactly. You just have to keep plugging away. It's discouraging, but there's always support out there too. You can always get support from other parents. Feel free to ask, and we'll be more than happy to commiserate with you and help you through that too.
Yes,
So
exactly. And as Boole can attest, as an adult, it's even harder, but you got to try, right?
Oh yeah. It's hard to even know that. Like I said, when I got the information, when I got diagnosed, I was like, I literally didn't have a clue what to do with that information. I know it meant something. I know it meant that something could happen that would benefit me, but I didn't know what it was. And it's been tough, but I'm getting there with it. And part of that's just finding, good people around you that know the ins and outs of what is available.
Mm-hmm.
That includes doctors and people like Aimee and Dick and other people who have been through the journey. So that's the important part.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well said. And I think, as the last slide says, what do you say, Aimee? You want that?
Sure. Do you want that, Matt?
Can you stop saying Amy and say Matt instead?
Oh, just read it.
Okay. This concludes part 2 of the benefits of speech therapy and autism. Thank you so much for watching. We love you all. Stay safe and healthy. Until next time, later, hot potatoes.
We promise we're gonna have more great shows coming up.
Yes.
Over here.
That was awesome.
That was great.
Thank you.
So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else, Matt is slowly taking over the show. As one of the last shows that I will be an official co-host, I'd like to say thanks for watching, and going forward, welcome to the Matt Show.
Yep.
You mean the Matt?
On the Matt Network.
yeah.
Matt.
That's right.
Change autism into Matt's autism.
That's right. Well, so thank you so much, everybody. Like we said, always ask. Somebody will be able to help. Any one of us will be able to help you in that direction. So
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Reach out.
we have Matt.
Yeah,
to
the
provide entertainment.
There we go, right? But yeah, if any questions and stuff, the three of us are available. Check our Discord server and what. We're always around. We're so happy you joined us tonight. What do you say, everybody? Let's say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.